The Gardens by the Bay is an architectural and a horticultural wonderland that is a must-do on any Singapore itinerary. If you have one day in Singapore, this is where you spend that day. Number of attractions within the massive and the sprawling Gardens by the Bay complex, but the ones that we are most excited about visiting today are the Cloud Forest, the Supertree Grove, the OCBC Skywalk and the Flower Dome. We are also pretty excited to watch the Garden Rhapsody light and sound show that happens every evening, and we are even more excited to bring you along on our journey. So the Gardens by the Bay complex and the Supertree Grove are free to enter and roam about, but for everything else you need to buy tickets. Now keep in mind that this is a very popular tourist destination in Singapore, so in front of the ticketing counter you will often find really long queues. If you want to save that time, you can book tickets online on klook.com. So we paid around 28 SGD per person to visit the Cloud Forest and the Flower Dome. The Flower Dome holds the Guinness World Record for being the largest glass greenhouse in the world. Inside the dome, they have replicated the cool and dry Mediterranean climate, which is such a relief from the sultry Singapore heat. Inside the garden, there are hundreds of plants and trees from 5 different continents segregated into 9 different gardens.
Look at us now, this is who we are. And I just know things will never be the same. We're like strangers again.
The precisely placed flower arrangements in the flower fields are constantly changing to reflect the changing seasons, climate, culture and themes around the world. The last time I was here, there was the Tulip Festival going on and it was incredibly bright and pretty, and this time they've tried to replicate the Hanging Gardens of Mexico. Everything is so pretty here. I could spend the entire day just taking pictures of the beautiful flowers and the art installations, but we don't have as much time. We're going to head into the Cloud Forest next.
Still I need you. I'm weak for you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. I'm weak for you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
We are now at the Cloud Forest and oh my god, it is so impressive. This is a 42-meter high man-made mountain complete with the waterfall, the mist and thousands of plants and trees that represent the tropical climate of mountain regions from Southeast Asia, Central and South America. The Cloud Forest has an incredible wow factor. The moment you walk through those doors, you're hit with a really cool, misty environment and of course this gigantic cascading waterfall. It used to be the tallest indoor waterfall in the world, but funnily Singapore outdid itself and built the Jewel Changi Rain Vortex, which is now the tallest indoor waterfall in the world, which makes this the second tallest indoor waterfall in the world.
You'll be the death of me, still your medicine. Yeah, I need it, I need it. You light a fire just to put me out again. Still I need it.
It is so cool to see the Cloud Forest from different perspectives. We can use the suspended walkways here to experience the high altitude flora. So we are going to go all the way up using the elevators and then come walking down the suspended walkways. We are also really excited to experience the misting, which will happen here at 4 p.m. and hopefully we can get some great shots during the misting as well. The Cloud Forest has different habitats at different elevation zones, and the plants and animals at each of these elevation zones varies according to these different habitats. We just saw a whole array of carnivorous plants. It's my first time seeing the pitcher plant, the Venus flytrap, etc. While walking through the Cloud Walk, you can get really unique perspectives of not just the cascading waterfalls, but the entire Bay Area in general. You can catch really great glimpses of the Marina Bay Sands, the Singapore Flyer, the Supertree Grove, and the rest of the Gardens by the Bay.
I'm weak for you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
clouds from the cloud forest, we passed through a secret garden. It hosted really rare flora from around the world. In fact, some of the plants are so rare that they are on the brink of extinction. And there were like these miniature orchids that are so small that you're given a magnifying glass to actually view them. It was so cool to pass through the secret garden.
You'll be the death of me, still you're my medicine. Yeah, I need it, I need
After
it.
that, we grabbed a quick bite at Shake Shack and then took some photos at some secret locations at Gardens by the Bay. But more on that in a separate vlog. We are now at the Supertree Grove at Gardens by the Bay. These are a set of 18 massive formidable trees made out of steel and reinforced concrete. These are almost vertical, upright botanical gardens featuring plants, vines and ferns, forming almost a living skin on these concrete megastructures.
We went head first into the fire. Watch the flames rise higher, love. We were burning so damn bright, just like a shooting star turns into dust.
Once the sun sets, the Supertree Grove really comes alive, and there's an epic light and sound show here every evening called Garden Rhapsody, which hopefully we will be able to show you tonight.
When all is said and done, when all is said and done,
So that was the light and sound show, Garden Rhapsody, and it was simply epic. I am so glad that we decided to stick around for this. Okay, so now a couple of tips for you before you come to visit Gardens by the Bay. Number one is that over here you're going to walk a lot, like a lot, I mean it. I recorded 14,000 steps today just in this area, which is a personal high for me. So make sure that you're wearing comfortable shoes. Do not wear heels, do not wear new shoes to avoid, shoe bites or fatigue or pain. So make sure you wear comfortable shoes. Number two is that bring your own water bottles if possible. We spent approximately $10 on water all in all, buying water multiple times. It also creates plastic waste. We knew this, but we forgot. So don't forget your water bottle. You're going to get dehydrated. Singapore is very sweaty. You're going to need water. Number three, the Garden Rhapsody Light and Sound Show happens twice every evening at 7:45 and 8:45 in the night. So make sure you're in the Supertree Grove area on time. The best way to actually catch this light and sound show is to lie down in the Supertree Grove area. So you can definitely bring your bed sheets or blankets and just park yourself there. The Gardens by the Bay area has a lot of attractions. We showed you the cloud forest, the Supertree Grove and the flower dome, but there are a lot of other things to do like the Floral Fantasy, Bayfront Plaza, Marina Bay Sands, Sky Deck or Observatory. There are like a number of things to do here, and you may not be able to cover everything in one day. So if you come here and you're short on time, please make sure you make a list of things you definitely want to cover so that you can manage your time accordingly. And last but not the least, this really helps me, but I don't know if it's applicable to you or not, but I prefer to carry an umbrella at all times in Singapore because it can rain anytime, and if it's not raining, it's really hot, it's really sunny, so you can get tanned very easily. So I prefer carrying my umbrella. You can do so too. So that was our day at Gardens by the Bay. If you liked the video, please do hit the like button below. Next, we are going to be staying at the Marina Bay Sands, and we are also going to catch the Formula 1 Grand Prix this week. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel for coming along with us on all of our adventures in Singapore.